just build on what we've been discussing, and we are going to create a simple form in KoboToolbox. If you haven't created your account, ensure you watch the previous video so that we can be on the same page. So in this tutorial, we are going to use a simple practice, and we are going to see how to create a new project, explain some of the questions in KoboToolbox, and ensure how do we add these questions and be able to preview and test the form. So KoboToolbox has a variety of questions. We can be able to program several questions in KoboToolbox, and one of them is the text question, which allows us to obtain text-based answers, short or long text responses. For example, maybe describe your perception towards this commodity or product. So the person will give a statement and you can type everything. Also, maybe you may take responses from several, maybe an additional other specified questions where it's not in a specific list. Speaking of list, we may have a list where you're choosing one or choosing multiple. So that's what we have here, a select one. So a select one, you choose one list, maybe male or female, or maybe yes or no. For select multiple, you offer multiple choices. For example, the number of items in a household. So here we have maybe television, electric oven, electric heater, and refrigerator, and something like that. So somebody will check all that are available. We'll also have date time questions where you can collect the date of birth or the date of visit. You can also collect the time, specific time, let's say the time of arrival, start of an event, end of an event. Then we have number-based questions, which are now the whole numbers, the integers, which collects the full number without a decimal places. But also, if you want, an integer also accepts negative values, so negative 50, negative 100, and so forth. Then also you may want to collect float data points, so the decimal number, so you use the decimal type of question. The KoboToolbox also allows to collect audio-visual questions, so this includes the images, also the video, and also the audio. So you can record an audio from based on a conversation, then maybe go and transcribe later, or even you can take a video. We also have something to note about the image, the audio-visual. They consume a lot of space, so that one we'll be able to see in later videos how to limit the space content that they consume. We have a type of question that is a read-only question. That's the note, where you can provide comments such as instructions on how to fill a form. Rather than using the hint section of the question, you can use a note just to display some set of instructions. For example, item to note before starting the interview, please obtain consent, something like that. Or maybe read this once arriving, maybe some instructions for the interviewer to read, maybe good morning, this interview is about this and this and this, and something like that. We can collect geographical location, the GPS coordinates, using a geopoints type of question. So this allows us to collect the longitude, latitude, altitude, and even the precision. So you can be able to come back later and map those points where the data was collected. You can scan a barcode or a QR code in KoboToolbox. Then later we have other questions such as the calculate question, which allows you to do numeric calculations based on previous question. Let's say you want to add question 1 and question 2, or maybe you want to compute the age of a person, the date of birth based from the date of data collection. So you will say current date minus date of birth and things like those. Then we can group certain questions. So let's say we have questions related to demographic properties, where you have the name of the person, the household information. So you want to collect all of these under one group of questions so that you can be able to maybe collect all of them. So you can add a begin group statement which will group all the questions. We also have a repeat. So let's say you come in a household, and in this household you ask how many children under the age of 5 are in this household. So they tell you 2 children. So for this set of children, each of them you need to ask their gender, their age, their height, their weight, maybe their last immunization, the immunization status, and all of those questions for each child. So you may use a repeat statement that will allow you to repeat a certain number of questions for a certain child. So those are some of the questions that are being covered in KoboToolbox, and we throughout the tutorial we'll be seeing each of them in one way or another. So for this first simple tutorial, we want to test a basic type of questions, let's say the integers and the text-based question. And I've prepared a school assessment questionnaire sample where we have a simple questionnaire where we visit a school and just collect a certain number of details, the location details, then the name of the head teacher, the number of pupils, and the number of teachers. So here I'll go ahead and just go to KoboToolbox so that you can be able to program this questionnaire in KoboToolbox. And to do this, I'll go here and just I'll log in into my KoboToolbox, then open the form so that you can be able to work on it together. So once you are in KoboToolbox, the first thing you need to do is just click on the new button here. So that's the first step we need to do. And clicking on the new button, you get this dialog box, and there are several ways of choosing or developing a project. But for now, today, we are going to use build from scratch. So let's focus on this, but later we'll discuss all of these other options. So when you click on the new project, there are items that are required. The first one is the project name. So I'll go ahead and paste the project name that is in my memory here, and I'll choose the school assessment questionnaire. Then the description, you can add a short description. Let's say school assessment, just like that, school assessment monitoring. Just a short description. This helps you just to understand which form is doing what, and just an additional detail. Then you can choose the sector and the country is required. These are required questions. So currently I'm in Kenya, and this questionnaire is based on an educational services. So once you've done that, you will see this pop up, and here we have the school, the name of the form highlighted. Then we have the save button, we have the exit. You can add a question from library as we discussed. But first of all, we have the layout and settings. So here there are questions that you may want to collect, the information that you may need to collect automatically. This is what we call the metadata. So this allows you maybe to do some audits, some today questions, to collect the today's time, the start and the end time. Also can collect the username and so forth. So for now, let's not answer this. Let's just stick with start time and end time. And then going back, so I'll go back to the builder, form edit builder, and then it tells me the question is currently empty. So I need to click on the plus so that I can see the question. So I click on it, then it tells me which type of question we want to add. So I write my question. The first question is county. So just as we have on this Word document, so county. Then what is this type of question? So for now, let's put it as a select one. And then assuming we are doing it in 2 counties, so I'll say maybe Siaya and Uasin Gishu. So those are the 2 options that we have. Then the next thing is to choose now the sub-county. The next question is the sub-county. So let's say, assuming now we don't have the sub-county, we want the users to type, we'll just choose it as a text question. Later we'll see how to add the sub-counties. Then word, so the next question was word. Also for this, let's leave it as text-based. Then also the school will choose it also as a text-based question. There's a question here, but it isn't added. So let's say date of assessment. So let's allow this to be a date-based question. So a date-based question. Then the next one is the name of the head teacher. Also that will choose it as a text-based question. And then text. Once you've chosen the question, you can go ahead. We have the settings questions, the setting icon. This one we'll discuss in the next form. What's the purpose of this? So let's not bother about this right now. And then you can go ahead and just enter the name of the number of students. So we'll end our form there. So number of students for now, number of pupils. So let's put this as an integer question, a number question. So that's how you populate the questions, the number of questions. Once you have them, all of them, you can go ahead and click on save. It doesn't auto save, but you can go ahead and click on save. Once done, you can preview a question. So you can preview using the eye icon there, so you can see how the form looks like, and you'll see here powered by Indicator. So I won't go ahead and validate, but I'll go ahead and just collect the data on this. So I'll close the builder, then I go back to the project settings. So on the form, I'll go ahead and click on the deploy icon. So click on deploy, what happens? It's now launches into the to allow me to collect data. So how do we collect the data? Once the form is built, you can go ahead and just collect. There's still the preview button is here. Then we have the form builder where you can go ahead and edit the form. We have this icon that we'll use in another tutorial, the next tutorial. So for now, I'll click here to allow submissions of this form without a password. I'll explain. This is a new feature that was added in KoboToolbox. You may find in your account, it tells you that it's a new feature. So I'll just click on it right now. Then there are several ways of collecting the data, but let's choose the default that is right now. We'll click on open so that it allows us to collect the data. So it loads, and Kobo collects. You can collect in KoboToolbox. You can collect data using two key ways. So one of them is the app, as we shall discuss later, and the other one is the Enketo web version. So this is the Enketo web version, and you can see down here, powered by Enketo. So go ahead and just fill your data. So let's say working issues, subcounting, cases, maybe Word. Let's just stick on cases. Then school, cases, primary. Then the date of assessment, you can see a calendar. You can choose maybe today. Then the name of the head teacher, will say James. Number of pupils, let's say they have 340 students. So just like that, you can go ahead and submit. So it will tell you one questionnaire was successfully submitted. When you go back to KoboToolbox and click on data, you'll be able to see the submission. So there we have it, guys. That's how we go ahead and collect our data in KoboToolbox. I've been able to see, in this video, you'll be able to see how we create a simple form. In the next video, we'll go ahead and see how do we input advanced features. So I've been able to go until the last step on how to create and add questions, but we haven't seen most advanced features, which we'll be seeing in the next video. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.